Good day and welcome back to another Talking Technical, and I would like to kick off with something very interesting. I got an email from someone yesterday asking me, listen Frans, did you get the wonderful profit that Massmart gave all of us when they suddenly announced that that they're going to almost get back to their old model and send their American counterpart back home. So no, I did not, and the reason being is quite simple. And let's kick off. Let's chat about Massmart. Now, first of all, this is a daily chart, and I mean, look at this wonderful. Let's take that moving average out there. That's now irrelevant. Everybody will now say to me, listen, Frans, I got it. And that one will say, I did not get it. And that is quite simple. When you are involved in the market, you've got a share with the name of Massmart or any share. If there's an announcement that nobody even thought of or expected, suddenly you will get either a lot of money or you will lose and you will say, oh, I made a big mistake. And that is the beauty of the market. You will never know when something happens or is announced, unless you may be an insider trader, or you know about something that's going to be announced and you keep quiet about it and you buy or sell the share in advance. So that is the beauty. I mean, look at this chart. This chart had a massive consolidation here. For weeks on, there was no inverse head and shoulder. There was maybe a beautiful consolidation, but if you look at the consolidation, you will say to yourself, this consolidation, and there's the level 43.61, only above 43.61, we need to buy it because then we believe this consolidation will break to the upside. But in essence, what happened? The previous day, it closed at, let's get that level, it closed at 40.49, and then the next morning the announcement came and it went all the way up to around 58 Rand 14. So there was just no way that you will be able to buy in on this breakout of the consolidation. So always keep in mind, the market can give you surprises. And on the other hand, if you miss this boat of Massmart, so be it, because it was 100% sure luck. If you just bought it the previous day and you say, listen, I'm happy, I'm going to preempt this breakout of the consolidation, the next day you get the surprise. So quite simple. If you've got the Massmart and you're happy with it, enjoy the profit. But on the other hand, if you haven't got Massmart like myself, you just say for your friend or maybe someone that you know that's got the share, you just say congratulations, you are lucky, because I'm sure you are lucky that you were in the share when the announcement came. So bottom line, you'll never know. Remember, the market is always uncertain, and sometimes you just guess it maybe a little bit better, or you wait for something else like an overbought or oversold situation, or maybe a spike in volume, whatever the case may be, but you will never know 100% for sure. So that is the story about Massmart. I hope if you've got it, well, enjoy the profit. Well, let's go on to some of the other shares. Merafe is one of those shares that also is boggling a lot of people's minds. And the reason why it does is because some of the commodity shares are really doing very well. And what do we see here? Merafe is struggling. I mean, from about April this year, it went from a high of 193 to where it is now. Just the other day it was 128. So for me, if you want to buy it, I use the old system I've used for many years. I take the resistance line. I first get a resistance for me. I get the support. Where's the support line? There's the support. And then what do I see? I see that there is a beautiful falling wedge in the making. And only above this resistance line, that is 140, I will see that this falling wedge, that's usually a positive formation, can break to the upside. It can maybe go to about 152 if you project that the top. And where's my stop loss? My stop loss is sitting at 128. That brings me to something else. A lot of times on Twitter, I put there 100 points in the bank, 5 points in the bank of the S&P 500. I will save 50 points out of the bank. And that's just to say that I'm trading the Aussie on a day-to-day basis like any other trader. And some days we are very lucky and we do well on the market. The reason why, if you compare that to Merafe, we trade these small moves in the Aussie or the top 40 day in and day out. And we don't bother if the momentum is really to the upside or really to the downside, but we time it on a 30-minute chart. And that's what we do with our speculation members. We teach them how to trade the 30-minute chart successfully, consistently. And the reason why I say consistently, we do not change the model. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't work well, but over the years, you'll probably find that you can easily make 1,000 points out of the Aussie every month consistently. Yes, you will have months where you don't make that. But if you stick to your model, it will work. And that's why I like this question about Merafe. I've got a simple method in the market of using a resistance line, a support line, usually a combination with an indicator, and then I make my decision and I stick to that model. I don't change. Sometimes, yes, I make money. Sometimes I lose money. But over all these years, you make money. And that's the bottom line. Stick to that. There's Merafe. Let's hope that the despondent viewer of this program say, at last it will break up, and then maybe we are right. And also remember, technical analysis is only 80-70% correct. It's never 100% correct. Like any other fundamental analyst will tell you, it's always not always right because the market is just more clever than we are. So let's go to the next question. South32. And if we look at South32, I mean, this is now a typical commodity counter, and it always like to run a lot if it does, and it drops a lot when it does. And now what we see is we had a beautiful rally from about 39 Rand 80 all the way up from 50 Rand to 50 Rand, and that's in a matter of 6 weeks. And if I look at the chart, I first of all do exactly the same as what I did with Merafe. I first get my support line in place. There's my support line. I get my resistance line in place. There you are. There's the resistance line. And what do we see? We see a beautiful rising channel or an ascending channel. And we're on the brink of breaking this channel to the downside. And that level is at 47.63. So what will happen if 47.63 turn into a resistance? So this support line will turn out and it can easily go back to 45 Rand and 50. And by the way, if you do short it, make use of a stop loss of 50 Rand 60, 50 Rand 71, sorry. And my target, it can maybe go back to that 45 Rand level, 44 Rand level that I just mentioned. So the other thing that I always think about, people say that inflation is right at the top, starting to turn around. You hear all these stories in America that the worst is behind us. If I look at the commodity shares, if I look at this share, South32, that tells me that the prices in commodity shares are still going up. Then there's, for me, in my little book of mindset, I say then inflation cannot go down. Because while the commodity prices are going up and the shares are going up, it tells you that there's still a search for commodities. There's still a demand for it. And while it's going up, I cannot see inflation quickly turning around. Unless this chart goes down. Because what do we see? People will say from April, yes, Frans, it was 59, it was 56, it's now 52. That is lower highs. Yes, that can be true. I mean, if you've got these beautiful sparks to the top, it makes me nervous that inflation can maybe be a little bit longer on the high side. Let us look at Facebook, Meta. If you look at Facebook, what worries me, I mean, this is one of the top companies in the world. In actual fact, I must be honest with you, I don't use Facebook a lot, And simple, maybe I'm on the old side, definitely. It's not that easy to operate, so it's not so user-friendly, maybe for the older people. But if I look at this chart is worrying because there was a high of the share at around 383, which is trading now at around 159, and we're on the brink of making a brand new low. There you are. I just want to draw in that support line. Look at that. Now, the moment I do that, and I draw in a little line there, what does that give me? That gives me a falling triangle. That means a descending triangle can actually tell you that it can go lower. And the big thing is that support line is sitting at 153.17. If that breaks below 153.17, we can easily see this beautiful company down to 122. So for me, it is quite simple. I don't like this chart. It makes me nervous. And remember, this is one of the bigger players in the Nasdaq. Now, if the Nasdaq shares, some of their top companies are starting to look like this, it tells me that we maybe have seen a bear market rally in the last couple of weeks when everybody was pushing the market up. If these charts starts to break support lines, I will not buy it. Unfortunately, on the other side, yes, above 176.53, the chart will look much better, and then maybe it can break to the upside. But I think we'll probably break this because look at these lower lies that's been consistently working at making the share, making lower lows all the time. So be a little bit careful on Meta. Don't just go in and buy it. I don't like this chart. Maybe I'm wrong, but this plays, you can almost say play a little bit safe. So that's the end of this part of the show. Visit our website www.fransklerk.com for more info, and we'll chat again.